It was really difficult to be away from my children. My daughter had just turned 2 and my son was 3. And to have a mum in hospital over that kind of long term was really difficult. It was really difficult when they came to visit me because my brain got overwhelmed very, very easily, and so I could only spend short amounts of time with them. While I was still in the rehab hospital, I was very conscious about what my children were experiencing, and not just the practical realities of mum isn't here, but emotionally what my children were experiencing. When one person is recovering from a stroke and unable to do very much at all, and another person is working and doing all of those household chores, you actually have 2 people who are really stretched to the limit and really fatigued and really quite stressed, and quite a difficult dynamic. My husband and I have separated since my stroke, and that means for me putting my life together in a very different way, because the way that I used to manage it was get to 6 o'clock at night and withdraw to a quiet space on my own, and my husband would do all the parenting, whereas now I'm needing to look after children for 2 and 3 day or 4 day stretches at a time with no opportunity for downtime and respite, and that's really challenging. With sustained exposure to my children with big personalities, I would get more and more and more and more overwhelmed, to the point that I just became a shouty mum. And that's really joyless for everybody. I'm not a shouty mum, and I was being a shouty mum. So, I've had to make choices in my life about the way that I can manage rest times and down times, and how much I take on and what I agree to and when. And I structure all of that around when am I going to be with my children and be the best person I can when I'm with my children. I need to stop doing some things and slow right down and just be joyful, just have fun, just play and laugh. Life doesn't have to be a struggle. You can actually make some conscious and deliberate choices about just having fun.
I would say that if you've had a difficult relationship before the stroke, which wasn't us, thank goodness, it makes everything worse. But we've had a really solid family. Family is almost everything to me. Well, it is. It's everything. I couldn't imagine life without the relationship with my wife and kids. So they were there every minute of every day of recovery. It made us more self-sufficient. We didn't really pull on outside of the immediate family for things. So it showed what a team that the family of us 4 people are. We've really enjoyed now that we're looking at the backside of the rehabilitation, how strong we are as a family and how far we've come together. Yeah. So it builds a relationship, but like I said, if it's a bad relationship, it's gonna destroy it if you don't really work at it, because I've seen it happen to other people.
I was a single bloke before the relationship, so there was no problems there. Yeah, it actually brought people more closer to me, and important friends that were important come closer, and people that you didn't see that often, they kind of moved away, which was not a bad, that's cool, because everyone knows where they stand then, don't they?
I think the youngest was about 28 when this happened, and then 32 and 33, they're all a bit older now. But I think they all grew up when this happened. It was amazing to see suddenly they changed from being these really dependent children to, very responsible adults, and they all pitched in and helped. And the grandchildren are hilarious because they just accept it.
I mean, my attitude at the time was all about me. It was why me, poor me. But I was forgetting about Denise, my 2 boys, family and friends who were going through a similar thing. But at the time I didn't realise that, I thought I was going through it all. But they were going through a similar thing, so they told me that later.
My family is amazing, and I've got an identical twin sister, and so for me, while she was, getting married and travelling and having kids, for me, I was everything that she was doing everything I could no longer do. That has been a huge challenge for me, but in one way that I take in overcoming that is that I try really hard to find commonalities with my friends, and I've made a lot of new friends that we share a lot more common values. As much as I'd love to be in that spot, I try my hardest to still do all those things.
Been married 40 years.
Yeah.
Oh, 30 odd up to that stage.
Yeah,
So we're locked in for moving forward.
Yeah, good.
Just 1 week of rehab to see, and then he said to me later on, he said, the reason why I did that is because we're left holding the baby a lot. You know, once relatives hand the relative over to a hospital, they feel, oh, everything's better now, and they fade, and they're left, you know, trying to get them into a home and things like that. But he said, I could see a bit of commitment.
Yeah, commitment.
Yeah.
Good.